we show veterans how to recreate properly and safely in the wilderness. If you've never had the opportunity to go rock climbing, hot air ballooning, shark cage diving, whatever it is that gets you off the couch and gets you to tick, you know, um, helps you find your jam, that's exactly what we're looking for.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Small Business Podcast. My name is Kevin Dandino. I am so glad to be with you here today. As always, we are trucking on through these episodes, and we have some great business owners to talk to, some ones that we've already talked to in the past. If you missed any of the previous episodes, go back through some amazing stories from small business owners about things that they're doing, their businesses, what they do in their community, and everything like that. So if you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking for some stories or just something to help you move forward with your own business aspirations, this is the place to be, guys. We got a great business owner on today. We're going to talk to him in just a second. And just a quick reminder, everyone, that this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. So if you're looking for any kind of quote, whether it's personal or commercial, please reach out to us today. We'd be more than happy to get you set up with a quote there and see if there's anything we can do for you. Reach out to us today at 303-838-0554. That's 303-838-0554. Today, I have Deke Letson, the founder and executive director of the Veterans Exploration Therapy nonprofit organization. Deke, it is good to have you on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk about this. This is something that when it comes to veterans organizations, not only does Centennial State, it's a very important thing to us, and we hold it very close to us. But me being a vet myself, coming from the Air Force, so this is just something that I hear about these things. I see what you guys are doing, and I instantly I want to learn more about you and see what you're doing. So I'm glad to be talking to you today.
Yeah, like I said, thanks for having me, and thank you for giving us the platform to tell the rest of the world what we're doing. And
well, let's jump into it, man. Explain what this is. How did it start? What was your inspiration? What's your backstory? All that stuff. We want to hear it.
oh yeah, here we go. So this is actually a school project that went horribly right.
There you go.
I'm an Army veteran. I did 10 years in the Army and combat vet, 2 deployments to Iraq. And I actually did everything exactly the wrong way when I got home from Iraq. I only had about 10 months of between my first and second deployment. I only had 10 months of stabilization back here in the States. And, I started drinking because I thought that we, got home from Iraq and we were partying and everything. Then I got deployed again to Iraq for a second time, came back home, picked up right where I left off, just thought that we were partying because we got home, and didn't take long to realize that I was getting blackout drunk just to go to sleep at night, just to, not, to forget, just to
not feel.
be honestly, exactly, to all that stuff. And so wasn't long after that, honestly, I caused a divorce. I was too big of a man to just admit that I had a problem, even though that people were telling me that I had something going on. I continued to drink and just self-medicate until in 2017, I went to Panama for a wedding, which was supposed to be a fun time, but it was my first time leaving the country since Iraq. And where we were at, they were burning their trash, and there were big billows of smoke coming up all over the place. And they were celebrating with black cat fireworks, and so there was pop, 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 pop going off all over the place. And so while everybody was inside having a fun time and partying, I was literally patrolling the perimeter of the wedding grounds that we were on, and I was able to put 2 and 2 together that the only time that I had felt this much fear was when I was in Iraq and somebody was trying to kill me. And although I was aware that I was in Panama and somebody wasn't trying to kill me, years of therapy later, come to find out it was delayed onset PTSD. And so getting back to the States, I called the crisis line at the time, and it was not much help. I know that they have since changed that to the 988 mental
Good.
health helpline, and it's significantly changed, and it's so much more than just a crisis line now.
Good to
Um,
hear.
but back then, it wasn't much help. Uh, and we thought that getting me back to the States would help me out, and that did not. When we got back to the States that night, uh, I wasn't calming down whatsoever. We went to the VA emergency room. They essentially gave me, this was a Friday night, they gave me 3 days worth of medication to get to the VA on Monday morning when they opened up. So, uh, just tried to get through that weekend. And then when I showed up to the VA in the morning on Monday morning, tried to be seen by mental health and they wouldn't see me. And it's like, wait, I'm having active flashbacks going on. Why won't you see me? And apparently it was because I had not put a claim in for PTSD for something that I didn't know that I had. And
Jeez.
so, yeah, yeah. And so it was, so that was the beginning of, well, number one, like having mental health issues. And then number two, just trying to get help and running into all kinds of roadblocks and finding out, how incredibly hard it was just to simply get help. Um, yeah, it ended up taking me 8 months to walk through the door of mental health at the VA. I mean, I was that veteran that was it, I was crying like I couldn't get out of bed. I was a grown ass man crying, and I
Mhm.
didn't understand why. Like it had just hit me like a freight train,
Yep.
and all while I'm still trying to function, because life still goes on and everything like that. Uh, 2018, I 2018, it was February 6th, Super Bowl Sunday. And went out and I had a couple beers and I didn't turn my headlights on and I got a DUI. And it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Mm.
Um, I haven't had a drop of alcohol since that night. Yeah, February 7th, that morning, I woke up in a jail cell, which was yeah, not pleasurable whatsoever. Uh, and it also coincided with my alcoholic father's birthday too. So it was kind of the universe saying, like, hey, you can never have a drink of alcohol again. Like the rest of the
Right.
world can, you can't.
Right.
Um, and so, but like I said, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I lost my job. I was that veteran that was about to commit suicide. Yeah, most dangerous person on this earth is someone with nothing to lose. And,
Yeah.
I had gone through a divorce, just everything that I had just outlined a second ago. And of course, it goes way more in depth in the short little, snippet
Yep.
of my life there. Uh, but yeah, I was that veteran that was about to blow my brains out. And luckily, I had some really amazing people that didn't let me do something stupid. And all I had was, well, a couple close friends and my GI Bill. And I walked into Red Rocks Community College. I thought that they were going to make me do something horrible, like be an accountant or something. Not, nothing against those people or
No,
anything.
I get it though. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, just not my jam.
Not my
And
thing. Nope.
yeah, no. And they said, hey, well, what do you love to do? And I said, well, I love the outdoors. And they said, well, we've got this outdoor education degree. You want to be an outdoor guide? And they were like, it's a whole degree program. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And they said, well, have you ever heard of wilderness therapy before? And I had not. And they had a whole program for that. And so I signed up for them by the end of the day. And yeah, this was 2018. I'm 36 years old, about to be a grown ass man going back to college.
Ah,
And
never too late.
no, it really isn't. Absolutely not, ever. And so yeah, I started that journey, just being a combat veteran, trying to navigate the world of college and kids and everything like that. I had some struggles and actually had to talk to 16s throughout my college experience. I'm pretty sure I set the record, or at least I want credit for the record.
For
Um,
sure.
but Uh, but so I'm going through therapy the whole time, and my therapist, she says, Deke, one of the things I was going through at the time or whatever, she says, Deke, have you ever been treated for a brain injury before? And I
Mm.
was like, no, but I had an RPG and 255 millimeter Katusha rockets go off next to me when I was in Iraq, and not to
Yeah.
mention just the stupid stuff we do while we're drinking and getting in fights and, all that stuff.
Hmm.
And she stopped me. I apologize if I'm just rambling at
No,
any
you're good.
moment.
Keep going. Yeah.
But she hands me a phone number and she didn't even tell me who it was. And she goes, will you just call these people? And so I did, and it was the Marcus Institute for Brain Health at CU Anschutz on the other end of the phone. And
Interesting.
yeah, and so they did some interviews, then they invited me in for a 3-day interview, and then they said, yes, you have sustained a mild traumatic brain injury. And
Mm.
well, and
Wow.
actually, so many things were eye opening about just the interview process. They were able to find out that the left side of my brain was no longer communicating with the right side of my brain.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, the neurotransmitters had broken when my brain bounced around inside my skull. And then they said, like, hey, when you walk down a hallway, do you run into the wall like you're drunk? And I'm like, yeah, but I haven't had a drink since 2018. And they're like, that's because your vestibular in your ear was messed up, and your balance is a foot and a half to the left and rear. And
Huh.
so, yeah, and so this is where like life was just absolutely eye opening. Once they were able to pinpoint exactly what was going on, was also the very second that we could come up with a plan of action. Like, no
Hmm.
longer was I a freak, no longer was I just somebody that, uh, you know, was scaring therapists and nobody could figure out like what was going on with me. Now we knew
Yeah.
exactly what was going on with me, and now they've got a plan of action. So they sent me through a 21-day intensive outpatient program, which absolutely saved my life. They can't fix the neurotransmitters that were broken in my brain. However, they can create new ones, and this
Hmm.
is where it's life changing.
Yeah.
They sent us through physical therapy. They taught us about art therapy, yoga, Tai Chi. They said, Deke, your brain is just like bandwidth with a computer. Normal person's got 100%, you've got 50%. You operate just fine in this 0 to 50% range right here. But when you cross that, when you jump over that, that's when easy tasks become incredibly hard. That's when, boiling water becomes hard. And then it's frustrating because those easy tasks that you know that you used to be able to do, you can't do anymore. And
Right.
so there were so many just eye-opening things that the Marcus Institute taught us, but most of all, it was slow down. You've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. And and you have to be healthy. You have to.
Yeah.
Well, they were the first people that said, "Hey, you don't have to take a pill for your healing anymore," which the VA is synonymous for just throwing people on a pill. And
Yep.
which will never ever treat the root cause of what's going on. I'm not saying don't
Exactly.
take your pills, but I am
Right.
saying that there are other things out there that can help you to heal. And that's exactly
Hmm.
what the Marcus Institute taught us. And and so I go through this program in January of 2020, and this is over Christmas break while I'm still in school, and all of my classes canceled on me in my outdoor education degree. And there was a small business entrepreneurship class for the outdoor industry. And I had no intention on taking it whatsoever. I wasn't a business person, any of that. But all my classes canceled, just the way the GI Bill works. You can't
Hmm.
just jump around degree programs. It was
Right.
this or nothing. And
Right.
so, yeah, so it was like, well, um, I'll get another certificate out of the deal at least. And so I just sucked it up and did it. Well, first day of the class, they made me make a fake business. And so I made veterans exploration therapy.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So hence being the school project that went horribly right. Um,
That's fascinating.
yeah, yeah. And just I started getting pulled aside by the instructors shortly after and saying, you should do this for real. Like, you
Yeah.
should seriously think about doing it. And then of course I made every excuse in the book for why I can't do it and why I shouldn't do it. And then I went and, graduated and got a job. And I used to think that those people that told me the universe told them to do something, I used to think that they were absolutely crazy until it hit me like a ton of bricks. And every time I tried to get away from it in any way, shape, or form, I got sucked right back into it.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, I first off, I want to say thank you for being so transparent with your story. Um, not being, having seen any frontline action or anything like that myself. Obviously, I was safe, well far away from any of the hard, crazy stuff going on. But I know that there are people out there in all the branches that once they leave the service, struggle in any number of ways. I'm no exception to that. I think my thing was more about the community. I felt like I had lost. It's different. Going from working with your friends to just working with people that you're friendly with. And in the public life here, in the civilian life, you don't hang out after work. Everyone has their own families, their own. But in the military, that's what you do. Our squadron had a bar in. Like that's what flying
yeah,
squadrons do. There's a bar right there in the building you work in, right? Um,
yes,
and there's just that sense of community there that you're all in it together and you're all embracing the suck together. And um, for me, it was like you lose that, and it's, yeah, you can still call people up, but when they're across the country, it's just different, right? So all I'm saying is, people are going through this and are struggling to even be able to talk about it. So, you being able to share your story in the way that you are is really inspiring, and I hope that somebody else out there hears it and kind of gives them the courage to kind of take that step forward. And admitting you need help is hard, especially from people in our profession. You don't admit that you need help.
no, yeah, that's it right there. You were shunned.
Yeah,
you were called all kinds of names and everything like that if you said that anything was going wrong. Or like
yeah,
I was an imagery analyst and I had a top secret with sensitive compartmentalized information security clearance, and like God forbid you mention you have anything going on with you
yep,
because they'll yank that clearance out from under you without even thinking twice.
yeah,
And then you're mopping the floor. So it's either don't say anything or mop the floor,
right, exactly. Those are your options.
yeah, exactly. Some other horrible thing. And see, that's just kind of, there's so many things that you just said that is exactly why we are in existence and why we're doing exactly what we're doing. Because that sense of community, that is exactly what we're trying to bring back. Those brothers
Yep,
and sisters that, just exactly like you were saying, yeah, you're friendly with people, but I
it's
mean,
different.
I yeah, exactly. Like I know about my good buddy Kevin's tramp stamp that he's got on him because like we freaking know everything about these people, and I know how you covered it up too,
Yeah,
Kevin.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Not this Kevin. I mean, I might have one. I'm not going to
and
confirm or deny it.
not this Kevin. Yeah, no, no, no. The Kevin I served with. You know who I'm talking.
Oh, I know, I know.
He'll know
Yep.
who I'm talking about. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't even put two and two
Oh, you're
together.
fine. That's funny. That's funny.
um, but just exactly what you said there. Like getting out of the military is like getting out of high school. Yeah, you've got your close knit group of friends, but then just as time goes on, it starts. People move away, people get married, they have kids. Next thing you
Yep.
know, they're across the country, just like you said, and a phone call just isn't the same, and or just you find yourself in a mental health emergency and you don't have your close family and friends, like, or just any kind of emergency, you're alone, you're secluded,
Yeah.
you don't have anything else. And just kind of like what we said at the beginning, person with nothing to lose is, one of the most dangerous people out there. And so
Yep.
that's what we're trying to do as an organization with Venture, and just is give people a reason to wake up tomorrow, give them something to look forward to, introduce them to new friends and family members. That's why we do this as an organization. There's so many veteran programs that are just veteran specific, and I'm not talking bad about any of them. There's so many that I
No, yeah,
participate in myself and I love. However, like I saw what I did to my own personal family, and not intentionally, of course, but I saw how I tore the family apart, and everything like that. And so it's like, why don't we get these family members out there together, making memories, giving them the skills that they need necessary to be able to make memories without an organization or anything. And so that's why we
yeah,
try to we're using adventure as an opportunity to reach veterans and their family members. And we very loosely word family because we all learned in the military, you don't have to be blood to be family.
exactly.
So if they've got a good close friend or something like that, we call it their 3 a.m. buddy. If you're going to pick up the phone at 3 a.m. and just listen and be non-judgmental, then heck yeah, you can absolutely participate with your veteran friend on one of these, on any of our events. Um, but yeah, so we show veterans how to recreate properly and safely in the wilderness. If you've never had the opportunity to go rock climbing, hot air ballooning, shark cage diving, whatever it is that gets you off the couch and gets you to tick, you know, um, helps you find your jam. That's exactly what we're looking for. Um, so yeah, we teach them how to recreate properly and safely. We get family members involved so that, not only are you making memories with your family, you're meeting other families who like to do the same types of things. It's kind of like
Yeah,
that, you feed a person a fish, they eat for a day. You teach a person to fish, they eat for a lifetime. And
exactly.
same goes for recreating. Um, so yeah, our ultimate goal is to show veterans and their family members that there's a reason to wake up tomorrow. And remind me about the embrace the suck uh, term that you used a minute ago, um, as well, because I'll forget about it as I keep rambling. But then on the backside of everything is we have some really amazing resources in the community that'll get veterans help tomorrow. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, just like I went through, it, when you're having an emergency in really anything,
mhm,
mine was mental health. It could really be anything. It could be dental care, whatever
yeah,
the case may be. You don't need help tomorrow. You don't need help next week. You don't, and you sure as hell don't need it next month or next year. You need it right now. And
yeah.
so we've got some amazing resources that we work with that, whether they be recreating resources or medical resources, clinicians, stuff like that. Uh, we've got some awesome resources that we can refer veterans to that can get them help right
It sounds like it's a whole well-rounded deal that you've really put together here. That it's not just like you said, it's not just for veterans only, and it's not just hiking, right? You mentioned a wide number of activities that should be able to interest a wide range of people, right? But then you're talking about you getting the families involved too, and that's when people have kids and stuff, and through the struggles that military life brings onto families, right? And that includes the process of separating from the military, brings its own unique sets of struggles and stresses to families, and whether it's the spouse or the kids or whatever. So to be able to bring everybody together through that adventure you're putting on is really inspiring. It's not something I see a lot of other organizations, and again, not trying to dog on any other organization, but it seems like you've really tried to come up with a whole concept here, whole well-rounded concept that you're employing, and it sounds like it's working incredibly well.
it's going amazing, and it truly is a dream come true. And yes, I'm working my rear end off every single day trying to get these going, and just yes, exactly what you said right there, make a well-rounded product. And the next step is taking it to another city, and then taking it to another state, and then but that's the goal, is to I had some really amazing people in my life that didn't let me do anything stupid, and they saved my life. And I just, and this is just my personal thought, but I'd be selfish if I didn't share it. I'd be selfish
Yeah,
if I didn't show the rest of the world. And you know, that's why we do so many different things. It's and hey, the outdoors is my jam, our jam. But there's so many other. It's really you have to find your jam. You
Yeah.
know, if music is your jam, fantastic. Go explore it. If art is your jam, go like cooking, whatever the case may be. And that's why we also have some other amazing resources that are completely outside of you know the outdoors because yeah, the outdoors is what makes me tick. But you know, what if I told you everybody's different? You
Huh?
know,
What?
I know, and so many of these.
What? Whoa.
I can't tell you how many of these like medical conferences I go to, or just everything. It's and they even say, well, there's one major problem with it is it's not a one size fits all glove, and it's like, well, what if I
Well,
told
duh.
you? Yeah, exactly. So,
I love it. Just curious, how many members do you guys have? You know, total or show up to events, anything like that?
well, okay, so gosh, I guess we're not a member based organization, and so
Okay.
you know, I don't have any numbers to give you there or anything, but our doors have been open for a little over 3 years now. Our launch was July 31st of 2022. And since that time, we've run over 85 programs and served over 850 veterans and family members. Um,
Wow.
you know, about half of those are repeat customers, but that's
Sure.
actually exactly what we're looking for. We want, we want you to keep showing up and we want you to keep coming out. And then also, we want new people coming in as well too. So it doesn't turn into a good old boys club and everybody gets an opportunity to find their jam.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're 3 years is the average lifespan of a nonprofit. By the 3 year mark, they either find out if they're going to make it or if they're going to or this is a whole hell of a lot of work and we need to close down or
Move on.
whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are absolutely thriving in an environment where a whole lot of nonprofits aren't. And so just truly thankful and blessed for all of that.
Yeah. Well, it's tough for any small business owner. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the same stats. It is not something you do opening a small business or a nonprofit just because you have a little bit of extra free time on your hands, right?
Right.
Or you're bored and maybe you're looking for a new hobby. Those businesses are the ones that fail almost right away.
Absolutely.
um, I mean, 99 times out of 100 at the very least. And so, yeah, to kind of push yourself to this point, kind of walk me through a little bit, from the perspective of being the owner and founder of this nonprofit, what are some of the challenges that you've gone through and that you've overcome to get to this point?
Oh gosh. Well, so I'm not. So that's actually one of the things about a nonprofit organization is I am not the owner. The community is the owner. I found
Fair
it and
enough.
run it and everything like that. But actually, what gives us our tax exempt status is we're a community based organization. I can get fired from my own project. So yes, it scares me to death. But
I bet.
if you just keep doing you just keep doing the right thing and you don't have anything to worry about. Um, but gosh, and I'm sorry, I think I forgot a little bit of the question because I went off on a tangent
Oh,
there.
you're good. Yeah,
Um,
just the struggles that you've
oh,
overcome, the challenges you've come, and what you've done to get to this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did not understand in the 80s and 90s what those rappers were rapping about when they were talking about hustling and grinding until I started my own organization. And now I know exactly what they're talking about with those 80-hour weeks. And this thing is literally, you know, this thing wasn't built on a trust fund or a ton of money or anything. Actually, it was literally the American dream and built off
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. I borrowed the $50 for the original filing fee because I didn't have it at the time. Um, but that's just it, every day just showing up and grinding. And, there's been some incredible highs, but there have also been some incredible lows where, you're just sitting there, pounding your head against the wall saying, what on earth did I do this for? I've been doing, our doors have been open for a little over 3 years now, but I mean, this has been almost 6 years in the making now. And yeah, it's just blood, sweat, and tears. But you know, and yes, every time I wake up at 5:30 in the morning for a trip on the weekend to go do whatever, I'm still questioning, like, what am I doing in life? Um, but then as soon as you get out there and you see the smiles on everybody's face and um, see everybody gets all stoked because of whatever we're doing, jumping out of
Sure.
an airplane or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. However, where the stoke comes for me is when I see everybody at the end of the day exchanging phone numbers and giving each other hugs and like making friends and making
Yeah.
those connections and everything. And it's like, all that blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. It's like, this is why it's worth it. This is why.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I mean that yeah, that kind of goes back to when I was, navigator instructor, and you go through all the prep of getting things ready and prepping the flight and everything, but and sitting there and trying to explain something 4 or 5 times, right? And finally the light bulb goes off, and you just see them go, "Oh!" And you're like, "That's why I do this." Like, there you go. I just taught you something that you are not going to forget, right? So, well, you're doing to a much larger scale, and much more deeper and meaningful scale. I think that's exactly where the mindset should be for somebody in your position of what's important here, and what's the driving factor. Because I think if you keep that in mind, it's almost like anything that gets thrown your way, you'll have that motivation to overcome it, right?
That's
So
it.
I think it's amazing.
That's it. And, like you said something right there, like what's important. And, there's the veteran suicide rate, active duty suicide rate, not just military, civilians too. Like the mental health crisis that's going on in the world right now. It's just like, hey, that's somebody's brother, sister,
Yep.
father, daughter, son, mother. Just the list goes on and on. And so, when it ultimately comes down to it, what's important is you. Like that embrace the suck. You know,
Yep.
we uh, we use that term in you know our generation, Iraq and Afghanistan. Gosh, early 2000s to now, and that's the term of endearment for people who don't know that whenever there's something going on in the world and there's just absolutely nothing that you can do about it, just embrace the
Just
suck.
embrace the suck.
Exactly. Exactly. So, since there's not enough acronyms in the military, I made a new one.
Ooh.
And yeah, and I used embrace the suck. And so I turned it into a suicide prevention acronym just because I found out personally that there's
Mm.
absolutely nothing for people in the right now when it comes to, getting help for a mental health emergency. Um, and so suck is stop, you know, recognize that something is going on with you. You understand that these are perfectly normal reactions for people who have experienced trauma. You're not a freak. There's nothing, yeah, this is normal.
Abnormal, yeah.
Um, See, change your scenery. Something is triggering you, do that good old Irish goodbye if you have to, and just freaking leave if you have to. But K, and most importantly, know that you're loved. Don't fix a temporary problem with a permanent solution. Yeah, this may seem completely overwhelming and something that at the time, you may not be able to overcome, but you absolutely can overcome it. And don't do anything stupid. Don't take your life, like flat
Yep.
out. So
No, I make the same plead to anyone else out there. It's just it's not worth it. Um, people feel like nobody would miss them, and I guarantee you that's just not the case, right? So what you're doing here, Deke, is just really meaningful to me. And to see the smiling faces on the pictures of the people on your website, and people having a blast and getting outdoors. It's building that community back up that I think we all lose connection to once we separate.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's just it right there. Just bringing community back, bringing a place to go. Bringing people back into your life and that human spirit. There's not a pill in the world that's gonna fix this or anything, but just having people there for you, that human element, just that human spirit, exactly what I was talking about. That's what's going to save you. That having a buddy that's going to pick up that phone when you're just at your wits end and just non-judgmentally listen, you know, that's what's going to save you. Nothing from Pfizer or Moderna, and
Right.
you know,
Yep. Totally agree. Well, hey, Deke, before we wrap this up, I do want to give you an opportunity to kind of again lay out kind of just where people can find you. If you want to talk about sponsors and how people could sponsor you if they wanted to, anything like that. But I'll hand it over to you. The floor is yours, man.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And so, yeah, you can reach us at our website, www.vetxtherapy.org, ORG, since we're a nonprofit organization. And then, same thing with our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. The letter X, therapy. Those are our social media handles. Hit that donate button. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. All of your donations go directly towards programming and serving these veterans in your community. Yeah, we're looking to expand and reach other communities as well. And if there's any businesses or corporations out there that sponsor awesome nonprofit organizations, please, you could reach out to me personally, Deke, Deke, at vetxtherapy.org. That's my email address. Or, yeah, just hit the contact us button on our website, and it'll get to me one way or the other.
Perfect. Deke, it's been a pleasure having you on today and hearing about your story and hearing about exploration therapy. Seriously, this is fantastic stuff, and I'm excited to see what you guys do down the road.
Oh, the pleasure's mine, Kevin, and thank you so much for having me. Truly appreciate y'all.
Ah, perfect. Well, hey guys, seriously, if you're a small business owner and you're looking to find a way to give back, reach out to Deke, see if you can sponsor him or donate or anything that would go a really long way, and definitely is a very worthy cause to help out and support. So reach out to Deke today if you're interested in that. We'll have more fantastic small business owners on upcoming episodes, and this is an open invitation to all of you listening right now that if you are a small business owner and you would like to be featured on an upcoming episode, you can come on up here just like Deke has, share your story, share your business, put a face to the name, and no strings attached, nothing like that. So this is free advertising for you all. This is our way of giving back to the community, and we just want to help you guys out as much as possible. So reach out to us, either put your email address in the comments or send us a message on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and let us know that you're interested, and we will reach out and set up a time for you to be on a future episode. Again, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. So if you're looking for any kind of insurance quote, personal, commercial, whatever, reach out to us today, 303-838-0554. 303-838-0554. Be more than happy to get you set up with a quote today and show you that our customer service cannot be beat. But we'll get, once again, Deke, thank you very much. And for all the listeners, thank you very much for tuning in. And with that being said, we will see you on the future episode of Behind the Small Business. Take care, everyone.